Hello, friends. Welcome to Stamp With Me Tuesday on a Wednesday. Tonight, we are doing a faux watercolor background for easy handmade cards. This is absolutely one of my favorite stamping techniques, and it's been a while since I shared it or since I've even done it. So I decided it was time to pull it back out. It is so awesome, and I absolutely love it. So hello, Janice. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are here and joining me live, let me know if you are stamping along with me this evening or if you are just watching. And same thing if you're watching the replay, because I love that you come and watch later. And maybe you watch the live and you watch the replay. Maybe you stamp once, maybe stamp during the replay and just watch during the live. I don't know. Let me know. Let me know what you're up to this evening. If this is your first time here, welcome. I am Heidi with Onigo Stamping. I'm going to help you reconnect with your inner artist by using stamps, ink, and paper to create beautiful handmade cards and gifts just like this one. And I hope that you will hit that subscribe button so that you always know when I go live and you don't miss a thing, right? All right, I'm going to go ahead and make my workspace look just a little bit bigger so we can jump in and get started. Shannon, you are multitasking. And hello, Matthew. And Janice is just watching. Hello, Jamie and Carol. So glad y'all are here. Hello, Judy. All right. So thank you all for bearing with me. And last night's lack of internet, I had to reschedule. So, all right, here we go. This is the stamps that I'm going to be using tonight, which is the Sunrise Sailing. I haven't really dug in and worked with this stamp set a whole lot, but it's super cool. And at some point, I'm going to come back to it and make some more cards. But that is what I am using tonight, and I'm using the dies that go with it. It also has an embossing folder, but I'm not using that tonight. That's why I need to dig into it some more. To do this technique, you do need a clear block. I am using clear block D. This is like the basic size clear block. And I'm using 3 colors of ink. I'm using Melon Mambo, Pumpkin Pie, and Daffodil Delight. And Jamie, yes, I'm going to be making my swap card from Disney. So if you caught my live, my little impromptu live that I did on Sunday, Saturday, I don't remember when I did it, a few days ago, I shared all my swap cards that I got when I was down in Disney. And I said I wasn't going to show you my swap card that I made because I wanted to wait until I shared this technique. So this is actually the card that I swapped for Disney. All right, so in addition to the ink and the clear blocks, I have a piece of basic white thick. I like to use basic white thick for this. You could also use watercolor paper. I just like to keep it simple and go with the basic white thick. And then I have a Stampin Spritzer, and this just has a little bit of water in it. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start by inking my block up with some Daffodil Delight. And I'm mostly just going to put this on the top, but I do like to start with the lightest color and go to the darkest color just to kind of keep the colors from, not mixing into each other. Because if you get a little bit of yellow in your orange, it's not going to make much of a difference. If you get some orange in your yellow, it might make a difference. So I put some Daffodil Delight on there. Now I'm adding some Pumpkin Pie in the center. And then finally, I'm going to put some Melon Mambo on here. All right, so we have Daffodil Delight, Pumpkin Pie, and a little Melon Mambo at the bottom. Super pretty. And now is when we do the spritzing. So I have my Stampin Spritzer. I'm going to spritz it in the air. Okay. And then I like to just do it like this. We're going to let it get runny. You can kind of move the ink around a little bit, but I don't want it to do too much. So I'm just going to kind of hold it flat and flip it over and set it on my paper. I'm going to let it just sit there for a minute. Let the ink kind of soak into the paper before I pull this up. It also kind of just makes it not be too wet. And you're going to get something different. Every time you do this, the ink is going to do something a little bit different. So you never know. Like this time I'm getting a lot of the pinks around the outside. It kind of went crazy running. So there we go. And now that one, I might have put a little too much water on this, but that's okay. So I'm just going to let this kind of run. Just kind of get this to go all over. And there is, isn't that pretty? Oh, so pretty. So pretty. All right. This you can just wipe off with a towel, or I'm going to wipe it off with my chamois because that's what I have here. I still haven't found my like watercolor towel. It's still missing. All right, so I'm going to set this aside. We're going to let this dry. We're going to do a little bit of stamping to go with this, right? Because let's finish off the card. But that's the basic technique. So that's like, we've done everything. So now we're just going to work on finishing the card. I want to make sure that this piece is big enough. Yep, it is. All right. So I'm going to stamp my sailboat, and this is just on basic white. And we're going to stamp this with some early espresso. I don't know why I'm using the early espresso tonight. I just liked it. It was a little bit softer. I think I got some water on me. It was just a little bit softer than black. So I chose early espresso. And I'm going to ink up the outline of my boat in that. Stamp that. So it's really dark. My early espresso is really, really dark. Lisa, it's okay if you're late. You can always watch it again later to see how I did it. All right. And then I want to grab a pecan pie, my pecan pie. And I'm going to stamp the inside of the boat. I love this because it's a two-step stamping. Like this set has it all. It is a two-step stamping set, which means that I can stamp the inside. I could color it if I wanted to with some Stampin' Blends or something. It has the hybrid embossing puller, so you can emboss. It has the dies, so you can die cut it. It just like, it has it all. It has everything you need. So, all right. Then I grabbed the Summer Splash, and I'm going to use this to do the sail. Now the sail isn't going to fill in completely. It's kind of just making a stripe on it, which is so pretty. There we go. Isn't that fun? Such a fun set. All right. Let's cut the sailboat out. I do not need to fussy cut it. Although honestly, if you wanted to fussy cut that, it would not be that hard. It's, you know, pretty clean lines, but I'm going to use the dies. And I'm just going to use the die that cuts it out. There's other dies that you can make other sailboats with and clouds and things. I'm just cutting out the sailboat. That's all I'm doing on this one. We had to keep it a little bit simple. I did have to make like 26 of these. So I kept it a little bit simple. Although, you know, I think it's not completely simple because I did have to do all of the backgrounds. At least that's how I'm justifying it for myself. Whoops, we're out of camera. Let's put this. Thank you, Cynthia, for sharing. All right. So I'm going to put that on there. I'm going to grab, you know what I have here? I have been playing with the new Extraordinary Flora washi tape, and I have some extra pieces. So these are just sitting here. I'm going to use these to hold my boat on. So put this on here. Get that lined up. We'll put this one up here. And then I'm going to pop the top on this, pop my other cutting plate. Oops, and you know what? I was doing some embossing. It's missing my number 1 plate under here, or number 2 plate. So I'll slide that under there too. Pop the top on, and I'm going to run this through my cut and emboss machine. And we're going to cut out our sailboat. Well, Cynthia, I'm glad that you came back. I'm glad that you caught me live on this exceptional Wednesday evening. All right, so here's my sailboat, and I'm going to just peel this off carefully. This is washi tape, so it will come off, but sometimes it tears a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't tear my sailboat. I hadn't used that piece before. Sometimes you should take your washi tape if you're using it and you want it to be repositionable. You can take it and just kind of tap it on your jeans or something, and that's going to take some of the sticky out. It comes off a little bit easier, but that came off just fine. So there's our sailboat. So cute. I do kind of wish, I wish this little part was cut out too, but I can't have everything. I can't have it all. And I don't know how they would, it would have to be floating there. It wouldn't have worked. So, all right, let's see how this is doing. We're getting drier. I'm going to zap this with my heat tool just to try to dry it off a little bit more. So we're going to get a little bit noisy for a minute. And you see this one got really wet, so it did kind of spread out on the sides, but I love the way it just kind of flows together and makes it so pretty. So, so pretty. I, of course, have multiple samples to share with you tonight, and they aren't all like sunrise looking. They're different things. So, all right, that is now dry. I'm going to stamp. I'm going to pull back out my early espresso, and I want to stamp my birds. So I have some little birds. There's some little seagulls. I'm going to stamp those with early espresso as well. We're going to do 3 of them. Do 2 over there, and I'm making a triangle. Just like embellishments, I'm putting my birds in a triangle as well. And then I want to grab the stamp that says congratulations. And I'm going to stamp this towards the bottom. Try to get it straight. There we go. You were literally thinking the same thing. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. But look at this. Like if it did that, where the die would have to attach someplace over here, right? And then where would you attach it? Like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Maybe somebody is smarter than me who makes dies could figure it out. All right. What was I doing? Oh, yes. I want to grab my summer splash again. All right. So, well, Cynthia, if you ever lose your Facebook again, you can come find me directly on YouTube as well. All right. So I'm using the summer splash, and I'm going to stamp the You Deserve It. I'm trying to kind of get the line of the U, of the Y, between the U and the deserve. And I put those kind of close together, maybe a little bit closer than the one I wanted, but you can see how that says that on there. Just kind of liked it. So, all right, let's put this together. This is like so simple. Here's where things get super simple. So this piece right here was, I don't remember, let's measure it. 3 1/4 by 4 inches. And so I have a piece of summer splash. This is 3 3/8 by 4 1/8 inch. And I'm just going to adhere my sunrise piece to my summer splash. Now I like to fold my card bases before I adhere things to them. I know like some people think differently. They like to have it flat and then fold at the end. What do? Do you fold your card base right away at the beginning, or do you fold it at the very end? I like to fold mine at the very beginning. I feel like I have a hard time getting things centered if the card is not folded already. All right, so now we're just going to adhere this right to our card front. Just like that. So pretty, pretty, pretty. Fold first, Lynn. Fold at the beginning, Teresa. All right. Kim, you think you are getting sold on the set? Janice says fold first. All right. So I'm not the only one. All right. I'm going to take my boat. And if I can find my Stampin' Dimensionals, we're going to put some dimensionals on here. And I do need big ones and little ones. The bottom is a little bit too skinny. So we'll put some minis down here. Pull those backs off. Maybe. There we go. And then I'm just going to adhere my bow. And I like to put it just a little bit off center, just to kind of keep things interesting. There we go. And I did not even put embellishments on this. I felt like I got done and I said, should I put some embellishments on here? And I just felt like anything sparkly and shiny would take away from that really pretty sunrise. And I didn't want to do that. So I just left it just like that. Isn't that cool? Oh, I love it. I told you, this is like my favorite technique ever. Thank you, Teresa. Cynthia says you'd never get things right if you didn't fold first. Yeah, I agree. I'm so glad you like it. So this is, see, look, this was my sample. So they came out a little bit different. The sunrise is always going to be a little bit different whenever you do it. All right, let me show you some of my other samples. This one I used with the Impressions of Blue. Now this one I didn't use different colors for the background. I just stamped it with lemon lolly. So I just inked it up with lemon lolly and I spritzed it and made that background. And then I stamped the impressions of bloom flowers on there with some strawberry slush and timid tiger and added the sentiment and embossed the background with the pressed flowers. And you can see this is the exact same layout. So same dimensions and everything, just different stamp set, but really, really similar. And don't forget, we're using this for the June online card class. This, I think, is my favorite current stamp set. I have used it so many times. It is so, I don't know, it's just easy to use. And I always love a good flower. So now, because it is almost June, I could not neglect making a Father's Day card. So here is the Father's Day card that I made. Now, the blues look really similar, but this is actually Pool Party, Coastal Cabana, and Granny Apple Green. And of course, I used the Trusty Tools stamp set and dies. Now, this one I used a bigger block. I used, what is this, an E block? Yes, an E block. So I used the great big E block on there. And just made it bigger. So, and then I stamped directly on there. So this is, so with this, I mean, I guess I directly stamped the birds, but you can also directly stamp other things. And I directly stamped the flowers. You just want to make sure that it is dry first, because if it's not dry, your ink will run. Ask me how I know. And sometimes that can be really pretty. Like I've done it on purpose before. I purposely wanted that ink to run a little bit, especially with flowers. It makes it look even more watercolored. So, all right. There are my cards for this evening. I am so glad that you are here with me. Yeah, it is just fun. I hope that you make one of these cards as well. I'm going to go post a picture over on my Facebook page. I'm going to post a picture of all three of these cards together. And if you use this technique and make a card, I hope that you will come drop a picture of your card in the comments so that we can all see it and see what it looks like with different colors, different stamp sets, different, all sorts of different things. So that's it for me this evening. I'll be back next week, Tuesday. Next week, Tuesday is Super Sketches. We're doing sketches next week. And I always love Sketch Week. I love every week. What am I talking about? But I have another really simple sketch to share with you, a couple different sketches to share with you that are going to make your card making so easy and make it just super simple to make beautiful handmade cards that your friends are absolutely going to love. So that is it for tonight. Thank you all so much. I'm so glad you like this, and I hope you give it a try. I'll see you next week. Have a great evening.